I want to keep this to like 30 minutes, but Erin asked me to take over. It's week 12 of our You Can Too Zoom. And I love this Zoom, you guys, even hopping on it as, 3 years in the business. I love hopping on it just to hear other people's stories, because we can always grow our vision and grow, what we can truly do in this business, whether you join for an extra $500 a month. Maybe you can, dream of something bigger and create that vision for yourself. So I love these Zooms and hearing from other leaders in the business too. So let's just go ahead and get started and start with you, Gabby. And you just want to tell your story, explain what your life was like before, what the business has done for you, go in as much depth as you want to, just to create that vision for people and what the business has done for you. And then I might ask you some questions kind of as we go or whatever, but go ahead.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Hi, you guys. Thanks, Courtney, for having me on. I'm so excited to be here. I think it is so important to hear a variety of different stories, because there's no set person that is right for this business. This business is right for everybody. It just depends on you. And you guys, I literally had no idea that this type of thing existed before I joined. Drop a 1 in the comments if you were like, I didn't even know I could make money from social media before joining this business, because that was me. So I'll kind of start from the beginning. So I was kind of brought up in a traditional way. I went to high school, graduated high school, went to college, graduated college with a 4-year degree in something that I really had no idea what I was going to do with it. It was communications, and it was like kind of, you could do anything and nothing with it at the same time. And I graduated with no plan. I had not applied for jobs. I didn't even have a resume. I just kind of like graduated and was like, okay, I want to avoid being an adult at all costs. And so I had a girlfriend reach out to me that I went to college with, and she was like, hey, like, I think you'd be really amazing at what I do. And I was like, what do you do? And she was like, I'm a staffing recruiter for one of the biggest firms in the United States. And I was like, okay, so like, what do you do? And she was like, you just talk to people all day on the phone. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, that was literally the only thing that I could really think that I was good at. I could just talk all day long. And I was like, cool, okay, I'll get paid to do that. And so I interviewed and I got the job, and I was like, okay, this is what it's about. Like, I got my degree. I'm now in corporate America. I had to dress up every day. I was wearing a suit and a skirt and heels. And I was like, oh, I made it. And that got so old so quick. I was like, I hate heels. I'm like, you guys, this is how I look like literally all the time. So if I can't even imagine myself in a freaking pencil skirt anymore. But I was at that job for almost 2 years. And you guys, it was grueling. Like, it was show up at 6:45 in the morning, don't leave until 9 o'clock at night. You're cold calling all day. You're on somebody else's timeline. You're getting paid bare minimum. And the only thing that kept me with the company is literally they were like, hey, we'll move you to the downtown office because we need your talent down there. And so I live close to Chicago. At that point in time, I'm 25 years old. Moving to Chicago was always my dream. And I was like, okay, let's go. I'm here for it. And moved to Chicago on a whim, got a literal 550 square foot apartment. I could touch my bed, my kitchen, my closet, my front door, all at the same time with no walls. It was a studio apartment. And all of a sudden, I was paying bills. Okay. Drop a 2 in the comments if you like went into adult life and then all of a sudden there were all these things that you didn't know about, and you're like, oh, I have to pay for gas and electric and sewage and all of these things, and you're like, what? How do people do this all the time? And all of the money that I was saving living at home for the first 8 months of adulting was going out the window. It was going into rent, it was going into groceries, and I was like, oh my God, like, I can't do all the things that I was hoping I was going to be able to do while living in Chicago. And so I started having to pull back. I wasn't able to go and visit my friends. I wasn't able to go out to the dinners or the brunches with my friends and family because I literally could not afford it. I could not afford it because I was having to pay rent. And so I was like, what else can I do? Like I said, I was working 70 hours a week. I couldn't pick up a second job because I was working Monday through Friday and sometimes on Saturday. And my parents wouldn't let me drive Uber in Chicago, which is probably a no-brainer for like a 25-year-old girl. And so I was like, what the heck? Like, what else can I possibly do? And so a girlfriend of mine from Louisville, she reached out to me and she was like, hey, I know you're struggling, because I would like confide in her all the time. I would like call her crying and I'd be like, how do people do this? How are you an adult? How do you have a family and a house? She's like, I know that you're struggling and I have something for you. And I was like, please tell me you hit the lotto and you are cutting me a check. I was like, free money, like give me something to make this weight and this burden and this stress go away. Because it was driving me insane. And she's like, no, like you can literally make money from social media. And I started to laugh, you guys. Like I literally started to laugh at her. I was like, what do you mean? Like, first of all, I'm no Instagram model. Second of all, I only posted maybe once a month when I was doing something exciting, because it's like a highlight reel. And I didn't even know how to put up an Instagram story. So I was like, how do you think that I could potentially make money doing this? I would suck at this. And she's like, no, blah, blah, blah. And I told her no, because it literally sounded too good to be true. And I thought it was a scam. So I told her no. And then a week later, she called me. And if you guys know who Kelsey Thornton is, she got her on a 3-way call with me. And she was like, I just want you to talk to this girl. She does the business with me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be rude. Like, I'll talk to her. And she was just so normal and so cool. If you guys know Kelsey, she's a freaking hot mess. And like, I'm a hot mess. So I was like, cool, we're like the same person. And then she started talking about how much she was making with the business. And income disclosure statement, I'm not going to go into it, but like she was making a ton of money a month. And I was like, what? I was like, no way. And she was like doing it full time for 3.5 years. And I was like, okay, if she can make that amount of money, I can make at least $250 to pay for gas, groceries, and to get my nails done, because I wanted to feel good about myself because I was working so hard. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to dive in. I'm just going to do it. So I literally took the money and I signed up that night with them on the phone, took that money out of my rent money and dove in head first. And if you guys have been in the business for a day, you've probably heard this statement. It's like, I was ignorance on fire. Like I didn't know a thing about the products. I didn't wait for my starter kit. I didn't know literally what the cleanse did, what the keto coffee did. The keto coffee was brand new when I started. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to invest the $100, I need this to work and I at least need to get my money back, if anything. Okay. So within my first 72 hours, I signed 7 customers, because I was like literally texting everybody in my phone, you guys. I was texting everybody in my phone. Hey, I just joined this new health and wellness business. I know that this is going to help me and I would really appreciate it if you would just help a sister out and you would buy a product from me. That's literally what I did that entire Saturday that I joined. And I ended up getting 7 customers over the weekend. And then I got my shopping spree and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. So then I just kept on reaching out to people that I knew and blah, blah, blah. And I started to slow down. And my advice to you guys, do not slow down. Always ask questions, because I was afraid to ask, because first of all, my upline quit. And then Kelsey kind of like brought me into her like arms and was like, okay, girlfriend, like, what did she teach you? And she really didn't teach me anything. I learned from YouTube and our team pages up until about being 3 months into the business. And then she was just like, okay, you're going Ruby. And I didn't even know what Ruby was. So get out a Ruby chart, okay? Because first of all, now it's super simple. It's only 3 boxes, only 3 people that you need to help. Before it used to be 5. And she was just like, this is what you need to do. And I was like, okay. And I didn't go Ruby, you guys, until 5 months in. I wasn't one of those people who joined and then they hit Ruby and Emerald and Diamond in 30 days, okay? I was a slow start. And the reason why I was a slow start is because I didn't ask questions. I thought that asking questions made me look stupid. You are not looking stupid. You are not supposed to know anything about this business whatsoever. And who's supposed to teach you that? Your upline, your sideline people, the people that are on these Zooms. Like I said, I taught myself through YouTube and our team pages, you guys. So if I can do it, shit, anybody can do it, okay? So kind of fast forward, I hit Ruby at 5 months, and then I doubled the amount that I thought I was going to be making. So $500. I was like, hell yeah, I'm rich. I was like going to Starbucks and like going out to eat during lunch. And I was like feeling really good about myself. And then the diamond bonus came out and it was $10,000. And I was like, oh my God, could you imagine if I did that? Like, I couldn't even fathom a $10,000 bonus on top of a $2,000 a month paycheck. And so I just started speaking it out into existence. I was like, I'm going diamond. I don't really know what that means, but I'm going to get this bonus. And then all of a sudden people started to literally gravitate towards me. I started to sign more people than I've ever signed before. And then 8 months into the business, I hit diamond. I got that $10,000 bonus. And then that was like, whoa, okay, if I could do that, and you guys, like I said, if I could do this business, anybody can do this business. And all of this is while I'm working full-time, and I'm still working full-time today. So if you say that you don't have time or this isn't a priority, you need to switch your mindset, because if you make it a priority, it'll pay you like a job. Okay. So 8 months in, hit diamond, and then we go to conference, and conference is amazing. And it's my first conference and I get all these perks because I did all these things, and I got to meet Cami Pentecost and meet some of the top income earners face to face. And that's where I really caught the vision, because I just started getting closer to people who are in the business, who are working the business, who are seeing success. And I was like, oh, dang, like Stephanie Dunn, she's just like me. She's chill. She's just been doing it longer and is putting in more effort. So like, if she can do this, like I can definitely do this. And so in January of 2019, I dropped rank and I went to conference as a Ruby. In February, I got my shit together and I got my diamond rank back. And I was like so excited. I was like, yes, like $2,000 paychecks all day long, I'm about it. And then like Kelsey calls me and she's like, what's up? I was like, I got diamond back. I'm so excited. She's like, that's awesome. Guess what? And I was like, what? And she's like, you're going triple in March. And I was like, what? And for all y'all who don't know what triple rank is, the third highest rank in the company. And it averages 10 grand a month. And I was like, I couldn't even imagine a $10,000 bonus. I can't even fathom $10,000 a month. Okay. But I just decided, hey, okay, if I try it and I go and do it, and if I hit, amazing. And if I don't, it'll increase my paycheck regardless. So I just hit the ground running. Still working a 9-to-5 job. I woke up early. I worked. I went to work. I worked at work, worked the business at work. And then I went home and I worked the business again. And going from a little bit over a $3,000 paycheck in February, we hit in March, and the paycheck was amazing. But you guys, like all the people that you bring in, and like all the people that are bringing you in and are saying like, hey, you can do this. You can literally change your own life and then help other people change their lives. And it was insane, the ripple effect that Triple had for me. It wasn't about me necessarily as much as I thought it was going to be, until we all hit and people were going on vacations and paying off their debt and buying new cars. And I was like, a side business is literally changing people's lives. And so I don't even really call it a side business anymore, because first of all, this business pays me the same and sometimes more than my actual job. Okay. So this thing is an opportunity. This thing is like, this is tax 1099. This is a real thing. Okay. And so obviously it's a year later, still triple, running to presidential this year. I'm like, like freaking out. But you guys, like, it's not only the money, it's the people that you bring in, but also the people that you meet through this business. I have met some of my best friends through this business. Like Kelsey is one of my best friends, Taylor, all of my entire downline. Like I have really awesome friendships and relationships and business working relationships with all these people. And like that pays for itself. Like I would give away my paychecks to keep the people, because it's not just about the money anymore. It's about changing the people's lives that you come in contact with here. So that, I know that was like way longer than I expected it to be. I'm sorry, Court, but that's my story.
No, you're totally fine. And I want to ask you one question, just because we're a little bit short on time, but I want to know, and I know so many people on here probably want to know the same exact thing when listening to your story, especially with like the new diamond bonus out, like all of those things. So people have like promotion on their brain. So, listening to your story here and you hit all those different promotions, losing rank and trying to get it back, all those seasons. What would be your advice to somebody who's looking at like, okay, I want this month to be my promotion month. What's your biggest advice to them, or what you would say to them?
Yeah. So if it's your first time hitting, don't be afraid of it, embrace it, and like start talking about it to your network. Like the only reason why I hit triple and my team hit triple is because we were literally saying, okay, we're 50 orders away, 50 small orders away. I need your guys' help. I need you guys to support me and blah, blah, blah. And then people started literally coming out of the woodwork. So don't be afraid to ask. And also like, don't be afraid to like lift people up in your downline, because especially if you're going diamond, like you can go ruby by yourself, you can go emerald by yourself. You don't want to go diamond by yourself because then everything else is so far away. So like you really want to gather your people who are working. And I'm not kidding you guys, 2 to 3 people working on your chart, you can hit diamond 100%. So never count yourself out. You don't have to have a huge team to be successful in this business. Rise up the people who are seeing the vision with you and just go and do it together. Jump on Zooms and blah, blah, blah. If you have been in the business for a long time, and I'm saying long time, like 6 months and more, and this is going to be your first time hitting diamond, block out all the things that you've ever done before. All of the tried to hit diamond before, didn't hit, tried to rank up last month, lost rank, blah, blah, blah. Block it out, because that is only going to slow you down. You have to believe this month is a brand new clean slate and just go for it. Just go for it and plan it out. Like I said before, bring the people that are working with you, enroll, have goals for every single day, and just go and crush those goals. And if you don't hit the goals every single day, work as if you have hit the goals and you're going to have it kind of overflow into the next day. So work your tail off, stay up, wake up early, stay up late, and don't let the month pass without you hitting the goal, aka hitting diamond.
I love it. I love it so much. I know there's tons of people who are pushing for that, so they appreciate all of the advice and support when it comes to promotions. But thank you, Callie, for hopping on. I know you have a power hour to get to, so I appreciate you fitting us in. But Taylor, I'm going to move to you if you are good.
Hello.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you just want to tell your story, what the business was like before, why you joined, like your story throughout the business, and I'll ask you some questions too.
Okay, so I started the college route like was it Gabby? I forgot her name already. I started that route, literally had no idea what I wanted to do, but that's like what was normal. So I went through, ended up going to Pitt State and dropped out my second semester because I hated it, like hated school so much. And when my now husband graduated college, we moved to Kansas City and I started cosmetology school. Went through there, graduated a year ago now. And we got married and we had a baby last October. So he's about to turn 1. When we had him, I was supposed to go back to work and I worked in a salon until COVID hit and got laid off. And I had followed Courtney for like years, like literally years. And I talked to her about the business, but never got serious about it. And after COVID hit and I got laid off, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm jumping in. I'm going to do it. Talk to Court, my husband, and we just like went for it. Enrolled, and I got my first 6 loyal customers in like the first like week or 2 that I was in. And I went Ruby. Oh my gosh, my dog. I went Ruby my 3rd month in, I think, with a lot of help, but still did it. And then I'm 4.5 months in now, and I was like running for Emerald, and they announced the Diamond bonus. So I'm currently trying to go from Ruby to Diamond like this month. And literally it's like dedication and like just putting your head down and doing it, because yeah, it's my dog. Yeah.
Okay, you guys, so Taylor is like, first of all, there's been so many like hills and valleys in your journey. Like, even though you haven't been in a super long time, you came out of the gates running, and then, when you start enrolling so fast in the beginning, there's always going to be a dip, right? Because it's never going to be, you're not going to be on the top of a mountaintop forever. And so it's interesting because you had that, and then you kind of had to experience this whole like, okay, you're not going to be mass enrolling your entire, time in the business. So a lot of people at that point would have quit, but you didn't. And you pushed through that, and learning all those curves and hills and valleys of the business, and even like you said, like hitting Ruby and running so hard for Emerald, and having those times where you didn't hit it, but not letting that get you down. And so now you're even like, you didn't hit Emerald when you first were going for it, but now you're like, okay, heck, let's just skip Emerald and let's just go Diamond. And so I love your dedication. So what's your advice, and how do you keep yourself self-disciplined and willing to push for those things, even when, you've been through those hard things, and sometimes you might not feel like it, but you're still here saying that you're going to go Diamond, you're working hard for it. So what's kind of that mindset that you have, and how do you keep that strong mindset about that?
So I still struggle a lot with self-discipline. Like there are some days where I'm just not doing what I should be, and I know that I'm not doing what I should be, but it's that discipline. But Court and I have really, really, really big goals, and that's honestly what pushes me to like keep going, like setting those goals, but also setting those smaller goals along the way. So you have those like small satisfactions as you're going through, that you hit while you're going to your big goal. And honestly, that's like what it is. I have written like on Post-it notes around my house and on our whiteboard and stuff, like that I'm going Diamond this month, and that helps a lot too. Just like having those like things around the house, just like, hey, going Diamond, hey, $8,000 bonus, like get to work, girl, like don't stop. If you're on your phone like mindlessly scrolling, do something else, like do your KPI, like just having those goals honestly really, really, really helps.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like part of it is just knowing yourself well enough to know what type of person you are. And that if you put those sticky notes up, it's going to remind you, and it's going to tell you over and over again, to where you're going to believe in yourself and you're going to do it. And you know yourself well enough to, like, she'll text me that she wants to go Diamond because she knows it'll hold herself accountable. Like things like that. Like she reaches out and keeps herself connected so that she doesn't isolate herself. Like it's just knowing yourself well enough to keep yourself where you work best, versus ignoring all that and not doing those things that will hold yourself accountable because you don't know yourself well enough, if that even makes sense to anybody. But I feel like that's the most important thing. And I don't know, I just love you so much. You're so self-disciplined and encouraging and so positive. And I feel like that's just your mindset, and doing self-development and all those things. You wouldn't have that mindset if you didn't do that. And so that's super important too. Do you have any last tips you want to share with anyone? I don't want to go too far over, but
definitely like the whole self-development thing. Like my mindset switched like a full 360 once I started doing self-development. It was so crazy. Like Chase the Lion's a really good one. And I just started listening to this new podcast called, I think it's Be You Unapologetically. And like, I just started that at the beginning of the month, like yesterday or 2 days ago. And I'm already so far into it, and it's helped me like change things already that I want to like put into effect. And yeah, just self-development, big thing. It changes you and your business so much.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like it's the thing that gets pushed under the rug the most, which is crazy because it is like the most important, like 80% mindset, 20% work. So thank you so much for sharing. I love it so much. I love your story, and I can't wait to see it evolve even more this month and the future months too. But I am going to let y'all go. This is recorded, so if you want to send it to your team afterwards,